Your brain is running background programs you didn't even install. Old heartbreaks, past failures, moments you wish you could erase. They're eating up your mental bandwidth like malware. Here's what nobody tells you. Letting go isn't about forgetting. It's about freeing up processing power for the life you're trying to build right now. Watch until the end, because what I'm about to show you will completely change how you see your own memories. Why your brain won't let go of what hurts most. Your mind is designed to protect you, not to make you happy. That's the brutal truth. Every painful memory, every embarrassing moment, every trauma, your brain cataloged them as survival data. The problem? It can't tell the difference between a physical threat and an emotional one. That rejection from 5 years ago, stored with the same urgency as a life or death situation. And now, it's running in the background, slowing everything down. According to research from Harvard Medical School, emotionally charged memories create stronger neural pathways than neutral ones. Your brain literally wires itself around pain because evolution decided that remembering danger keeps you alive. Great for avoiding predators, terrible for moving forward after a breakup or a failed project. These memories become shortcuts, automatic responses that trigger before you even realize what's happening. Here's where it gets interesting. You're not trying to delete the memory. You're trying to break the emotional trigger attached to it. Think of it like uninstalling the notification, not the app. The event happened. That's neutral data. The suffering comes from the story you keep telling yourself about what it means. That person who left didn't prove you're unlovable. That business that failed didn't confirm you're incompetent. Those are narratives, not facts. And here's the subversive part. You get to edit the story, not by lying to yourself, but by choosing which parts deserve your attention. You can look at the past and extract only what's useful: the lesson, the growth, the insight, and leave the emotional baggage behind. It's curation, not denial. You're upgrading your mental operating system by deleting bloatware. Most people never do this. They replay the same painful scenes on loop, reinforcing the neural pathways every single time. It's like watching a horror movie over and over and wondering why you're still scared. Your brain doesn't know you're just remembering. To your nervous system, you're reliving it, and every relive makes the pathway stronger, the trigger faster, the pain fresher. Pick one memory that still bothers you. Write down what actually happened in one sentence. Then write what you learned in another. Separate the event from the emotion. How to rewire your brain's response to painful memories. Let's talk about something most people get wrong. You don't need to forget to be free. Amnesia isn't freedom. Freedom is remembering without the weight. It's accessing the memory without the emotional crash. And neuroscience proves this is possible through something called memory reconsolidation. Every time you recall a memory, it becomes temporarily unstable, like opening a file to edit it. In that moment, you can rewrite it. Your brain isn't fixed, it's adaptive. Neuroplasticity means you can create new pathways and weaken old ones. Think of your mind like a forest. The painful memories are paths you've walked so often they became highways. The more you use them, the wider they get. But if you start creating new routes, new interpretations, new responses, those old paths get overgrown. They don't vanish, but they stop being your default route. Research from New York University shows that when you retrieve a memory and add new information or context to it, the memory gets restored with those updates. You're not erasing history, you're adding chapters. That memory of humiliation at work, you can add the context. I was learning. I didn't have the skills then that I have now. The memory stays, but the sting fades. The data remains, but the virus is removed. But here's the trap. Most people revisit the past passively. They watch their own trauma like spectators, feeling everything again without changing anything. That's not reflection. That's self-torture. If you want to clear your cache, you need to be active. Question the narrative. Ask yourself, is this still true about me? Does this serve my future? If not, it's junk data. Time to empty the trash. The difference between people who stay stuck and people who evolve isn't what happened to them. It's whether they keep the past as evidence of who they are, or as data about who they were. One keeps you locked. The other sets you free. You get to decide which relationship you have with your own history. Practical action. Take that memory from earlier. Now reframe it in past tense. Back then, that defined me. Now, it was just one chapter. Not the whole story. What happens when you stop being loyal to your pain? Here's the uncomfortable truth. You're addicted to your suffering. Not because you enjoy it, but because it's familiar. You know how to be the person who went through that thing. You know how to carry that identity. Letting it go means stepping into unknown territory. It means you can't use your past as an excuse anymore. It means full ownership of what comes next. And that's terrifying. But think about it. How many versions of yourself have already died? You're not the same person you were at 10, 15, 20. Those versions are gone. The difference is, some of them you're still carrying around like ghosts. They don't exist anymore, but you give them rent-free space in your mind. You maintain their stories. You honor their pain. And meanwhile, they're draining energy from the version of you trying to exist right now. Research from Stanford University found that rumination, repeatedly thinking about past negative events, doesn't lead to insight. It leads to depression. Your brain mistakes repetition for processing, but they're not the same thing. Processing means extracting meaning and moving forward. Repetition means playing the same broken record until it becomes your soundtrack. One creates wisdom, the other creates identity crisis. And here's where it gets dangerous. When you define yourself by your trauma, you unconsciously act in ways that confirm it. You become the person who can't trust, or the one who always fails, or the victim of circumstance. Your identity reinforces the past, and the past reinforces your identity. Breaking that cycle requires a radical decision. I'm not that anymore. Period. You don't need a ceremony. You don't need to burn letters or throw things away dramatically. Sometimes clearing your cache is simply refusing to tell that story anymore. Refusing to seek validation for your pain. Refusing to use your history as your personality. You acknowledge it happened, you extract what's useful, and you move on. That's emotional minimalism. Practical action. Identify 3 memories you revisit often. Ask yourself honestly, this serving me now, or just taking up space? If it's the latter, say out loud, I see you, but you don't define me. Impact. What story are you ready to stop telling about yourself? Hit that like button if this landed, and subscribe for content that challenges comfortable lies. The version of you that's waiting on the other side. Let me tell you something you already know but refuse to admit. You're afraid to let go, not because the past was so great, but because it's predictable. You know how to hurt. You know how to be angry, disappointed, betrayed. Those emotions are your comfort zone. They're familiar territory. Releasing them means entering the unknown. It means becoming someone new. And that's scarier than staying stuck. But consider this. How much mental energy are you spending on things that already happened? How much processing power is dedicated to running simulations of alternate histories, imaginary arguments, what-if scenarios? Stanford researchers estimate that the average person spends 47% of their waking hours thinking about something other than what they're currently doing. Most of that, replaying the past or worrying about the future. Your brain has limited bandwidth. If half your RAM is running trauma from 2018, you've only got half left for 2025. That's not metaphor. That's cognitive science. Every unresolved memory, every emotional attachment to pain, every identity built on victimhood, it's all consuming resources you could be using to build, create, connect, evolve. It's an opportunity cost. Every moment spent in the past is a moment not spent in the present. Here's the powerful part. You don't have to do it all at once. You start small. One memory, one story, one identity you're ready to release. And one day, you wake up and realize that thing that used to haunt you is now just neutral data. You remember it, but you don't feel it. You know it happened, but you don't carry it. That's not amnesia. That's freedom. The real question is this. Who would you be without the weight of everything that no longer serves you? What version of yourself is waiting to emerge once you stop maintaining old wounds? She's already there. He's already there, buried under corrupted files and outdated programs. Clearing your cache doesn't erase who you are. It reveals who you've always been, without the weight of what's already gone. Practical action. Today, Choose one thing from your past you won't mention anymore, not to others, not to yourself, not because you're in denial, but because you processed it, filed it, and moved on. Evolution. What version of yourself is ready to be born when you finally release what's holding you back? Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Like, comment, and subscribe.